Let's start this treatise on tying subaqueous flies with a simple but deadly little pattern called the Pea-Ca-Bou. We're going to start out using a piece of marabou, which of course is turkey body feather, turkey shorts or bloods as they call them, in a rather unique way. Notice first of all where I've tied on here. This is a fairly long shank hook. I use shanks from 1x to 3x long for this fly. I've tied on right here. I've left a little bit of bare hook up by the eye, and you're going to see in just a moment why I did that, okay? Now, I'm going to take this feather, and first of all, I notice that I have some quill in here that goes virtually out the length of the feather, and I don't want that mixed up in my peacock hackle. So I'm going to cut that little part out and throw it away. And I'm going to just use what's left. I also don't want these softies down in here. They might upset things and make a mess and some bulk. And I'm going to take the rest of the feather and I'm going to do just like that to it so that I have stroked it into a clump with the tips all even. I think you can all clearly see that, okay? I'm going to try to keep them as even as I can. I'm going to switch hands so that they look like this. Now what's going to happen here, just to preview this, we're going to tie the thing in facing forward, in other words, sticking out over the end of the hook like that. Later on, the very last thing we do when we finish this fly off, we're going to stroke it back and wrap in front of it, and it makes a beautiful 360-degree hackle collar configuration. Okay, we'll get rid of this part down in here. We just stick our scissors in there and cut that out because that would keep from happening what has to happen. We're going to tie it on right here. Now, instead of using the pinch wraps that you've seen me use perhaps in other tapes or if you've tied with me, what I'm doing here is allowing the thread to actually intercept the fibers and cause them to deploy or roll around the hook in a distribution wrap sort of technique so that they equally are distributed around the shank of the hook. And as I work forward, I get onto that bare shank that I showed you before with no thread to inhibit this from happening, and that's the enabler.